Okay, so we are back after a momentary disconnection. Didn't really miss much of anything. The footage seemed to have cut off in the rescue fight that was right before this release of the Blue Toad, who has told us once again about the staff room that is to the right of the park. And so yeah, we just missed a couple of lines of dialogue, and we are indeed back, yes. Thank you for sticking around, Awesome Lamp. Just had a bit of local internet outage here. And yeah, didn't really miss anything. It was just the fight that we cleared. We rescued Blue Toad, and he is telling us once again about the staff room. And kind of explaining how they've been keeping that out of the way. But yeah, in the meantime, let's continue. I'm hoping to finish this chapter of the game. That was probably as long as we will go in this session. He can't do what? He can't use this stupid, expensive royalty pass if he can't get out. Alright, let's pull him out somehow. He can't do anything either. And what about this guy? What can't he do? I cannot. I cannot let anyone see my face. Oh, I see. He has an acne problem. I don't think that really did anything for me here, except for just unlocking some toads. We'll see if that was somehow relevant. Now, of course, we unlocked the Mache Goomba over here just moments ago, and there seems to be a bit of a backyard to this place, too. I wonder if I should have come back here to check that, to see if there's a back wall. Not really. Okay, just a bit of a toad spot. And we don't have a way to get in. What about the royalty pass? No. Well, we might as well hunt for the staff room. The staff room is going to unlock the Shuriken baseball game. Shuriken game that gives us the baseball. The baseball will let us trade off an item over to the dry bones. That's going to be a toad. And this is all new territory anyway. Someone real suspicious was heading for the old ninja house, where given some indication to expect Luigi, but you'd never know. Okay, sure, let's whack these guys. Okay. How are we doing this one? Probably swap this back. I want to swap the outer ring back here first, I think. And then swap the middle ring. Okay, fairly simple. Fairly simple. Sniffits are going to take quite a bit of punishment, so let me see if I can actually get a shiny down on them. Probably going to spend that completely soon enough. But 25 damage will be plenty. And that's going to clear them out. Standard jumps should do the rest of the job for us here. And once again. Okay. Going to get a mushroom and a decent pile of coins. Certainly looks like that's a toad. The staff room must be nearby. Well, I mean, this certainly looks like some kind of secret passageway, if we can... Aha! That probably is the staff room. I did want to check the other side first, just to see what's going on. But in the meantime, let's collect the bench. Yeah, I'll get in there in a moment. And I have some idea of how the puzzle sequence is going to work from there, but we haven't explored this location yet, and so I do want to see what is available here. I'm going to run myself almost out of confetti. Once again, that is going to give me access to the upper level too, if you'll notice the access point on the back left, the upper left. That could be an exit. This ninja is not origami, so it's going to be friendly. Sort of interesting that you do have such a clear visual indication of friendly or not friendly enemies just by whether they are folded in this game, since so many Mario enemies do work as neutral NPCs. There has to be something you can do to breathe underwater, and it's the straw. It's like this tube was made for the ninja arts. Okay, we're gonna have the shuriken. Shuriken is going to allow us to play the mini-game, I'm sure. But I think we may have to unlock the member of staff first, and that seems to be the implication. Reed pipe. That's not going to let me in, unfortunately, but this door is going to give us access to the chest and all that. Probably need a staff key for some of the stuff we're seeing here. Kind of interesting that that does let me get up top. Like there is some kind of passageway that I should be looking for. In the meantime, let's pop this open. And what's this going to do? Okay, ambush. So, we're going to have a whole bunch of Galoombas gang up on us. Radial hint indicator is probably going to be our best bet here for a quick solution. And okay, let's hammer these guys on the right side first. The jumps on the jump rows are going to knock everybody upside down and disable them anyhow, so it'll be a pretty simple fight from here. And that worked. Gotta love that Toad at the back, doing his own little backseat gaming, saying, "Use your fire flower." Hit him with the chair. Okay, let's duck back out. I don't know if there was anything in that room other than the ambush fight, actually. Maybe I should have taken a more careful look at that, but didn't see anything from the Toad indicator, and so clear to me whether that is the case. It could be one of those where I just need to release the staff first for everything to be populated once again. But in the meantime, we'll just check every available room. And that's just going to be a Toad. Maybe some tea will get taste out of his mouth. That's going to give you a clue about the straw in case you came over here first and realized belatedly that the straw was going to be the key item that you needed for the shuriken. So that's really only going to function as a hint. But I think it is about time we checked the staff room. see what that's all about. Okay, so you're going to have a whole bunch of toads all over the place that are rolled up. Halt, who goes there? Okay, so there's a suspicious character. Oh, I remember this room from the trailer, actually, because here's the Mache costume room with Samus and Goomba and Donkey Kong. That was, of course, the little tease that they had at the end of the original reveal of this game. I only saw the original trailer. I have not actually followed any of the promotions since, so pretty much everything else is totally new to me. It's so thematically appropriate. Yes, it is. The staff room has everything you'll need to infiltrate the main castle, especially the key. Shock and horror. The key is gone! I love how the Babam is remaining cool the whole time. He's calm as a Babam. That key is super important. It's a master key that can open every door in Shogun Studios, and that explains a number of the locks that we've seen so far. Well, I have to track it down. Aw, that's a miss. Okay, so this sleepy guy is almost certainly the guy who mines the Shuriken attraction. That's right. We had 0 visitors. And we have the Shuriken to play the game, so... Seems like it's fairly clear at this point. Shuriken minigame gives you baseball. Baseball gives you the dry bones trade. Dry bones trade gives you the bone to get across the chomp. I think that is, at this point, a pretty clear progression. Let's pull this guy out of the Goomba. Never tell when they're about to be ripped. It's Mario! Welcome to Shogun Studios, or welcome to the staff room of Shogun Studios. And, yeah, so... let's see what the Donkey Kong and Samus masks actually do. Jungle King mask. Could be that they are, in fact, usable puzzle items. Why don't you try it on? Could be that they are usable for some kind of puzzle progression in their own right. That thumping sound sounds like donk donk. Donk donk clong. Donk donk clonk country. I wonder if I can just use that at will. No, I can't. But it is a key item. Key item that will perhaps provide us with some kind of sneaky interaction later on. So that's going to resemble the massive Goomba Mache enemies we have to deal with later. If I want to pretend to be a shambling Goomba, that's certainly going to be way to go about it in the studio. Olivia finds this hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. If I just kind of freeze here, I think she'll just not stop laughing. Mario? Wearing the head of a super scary paper macho soldier? He looks so wobbly and silly. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so we know that this is potentially going to be a puzzle interaction in its own right, as we send Olivia into a laughing fit. So no doubt the Samus mask allows us to do some kind of sequence break. Space Warrior mask. An otherworldly mask. Sadly, it won't allow you to roll into a ball, so... Unfortunately, in this game, Metroid cannot crawl. Am I battling something? Very likely. Oh, it would probably look perfect on some other kind of M. That's maybe one of the few official acknowledgements we've ever had of the other M. That's very neat. Other M does not really get much time in the limelight. But I guess it's one of those things that's, you know, like the Virtual Boy. It's been sitting around long enough that Nintendo localization doesn't mind using it as a bit of joke fodder. And yeah, so Electric Dude, welcome back from wherever you were earlier. We had a bit of a disconnection a few minutes ago, but I'm going to finish up this chapter and then probably put things aside for now. The chapters are much longer than I anticipated because they are kind of two-part affairs. The first part being the developmental dungeon and the second part being the, you know, everything that comes afterwards, really. Anyway, let's get back to the shuriken throwing game, if I can find where that went. And I think I might actually have to consult the map for this. Oh no, shuriken throwing game is this way. There is even a sign. Shuriken Dojo Toad is back. Guess someone gave him a wake-up call. That would be me. Yeah, half lurking is always fine. This guy's very sad. I think he's very sad because he does not have his shurikens anymore, but I have them, so. Somebody swiped my shuriken. Yeah, that would be me. And you can see that the masks are also usable key items as well. Yeah. Whoa, Mario, you have shuriken on you. That's questionable. I sure can. I do wonder how that's localized in other languages. It probably wouldn't work quite so well as a pun, but I do wonder what has been done in its place. This Shuriken Dojo lets folks test their skill by hurling shuriken at a set of targets. I wonder if this is going to be motion control based, like whether I actually need to hurl my Joy-Cons unsafely. If you can clear normal mode, you'll win a baseball signed by a genuine sports superstar. I actually kind of wonder who the baseball star is going to be as well. I would assume that is not going to be Ken Griffey, because he's not lent his name to a Nintendo license in quite some time. Since you helped me out, I'll let you practice for free. Step right up. So, normal and expert, and of course, we're royalty, so I can, let's just practice first to learn the controls, and we'll try both. First, let's get you used to handling shuriken in practice mode. Stand in front of a launcher and press B to fire shuriken at moving targets. Don't just spam the button. Practice mode, begin. Okay. Oh, I see. So you need to... Ah, okay. Okay, I messed this up, but I understand how it works now. You kind of need to strategize based on which ones are available. I don't know if you can get a double hit. No, you can't. Okay. Okay. I actually did beat the target, even though it took me a moment to understand what was going on. But it scored like that, you're more than ready for the normal and expert modes. Let's do that now that we understand how it's supposed to work. Normal. Took me a moment to realize what was going on because it doesn't respond to the D-pad, just the control stick. To clear normal mode, you'll need to score exactly 21 points, so it works like blackjack. Interesting. Oh, okay. That is fascinating. That is really neat, actually. I kind of wonder if we're on a timer or on just a... Yeah, we're on a minute timer. Whoops. Missing... Yeah, it's the B button that we want. Right, the B button, because the B button gives me the hammer. We're fine. 16. -3, so let's get a -3, and then let's hit a 1. If there's a 1 that is available, ever. I feel like I should pass on all of these guys, because otherwise we'll have to do quite a dramatic bit of subtraction. Hitting a -1 followed by 2 will be enough to do that. 21 points exactly. A baseball signed by this guy, okay. I used to be a major, minor league, semi-almost pro. Yeah, and that's going to give me the tossing game. I do see that there is a trophy available for expert mode, however, and we're going to do that. Let's just try it. Now we'll see if it's also based on a subtraction mechanic or if it's just based on high score. 80 or more points within a time limit, okay. Okay, so yeah, once again, based on hammer activation, just have to think about it that way. Whoa. Okay. Getting some pretty decent throws so far. Not perfect. Oh look, there's a member of staff that walks at the back. I don't know if hitting him is going to do anything whatsoever, like if that's going to be a penalty or a bonus. Nope. Missed a member of staff. Okay. And that's going to give me over 80 as soon as I hit it. Going to have quite a lot of obstruction in the way in the meantime. Oh no, missed it. Okay. Okay, 77 is not quite good enough, but the last number 8 was quite deceptive. I bought a royalty pass. Yeah, we'll do that. Not entirely bad for the first try. Oh, whoops. A little bit out of alignment here. Oh, this has been a mess. This attempt has been a mess. I do wonder if it is possible, as I said before, to hit the staff, but in time. Let's try to land as many of these shots as possible. And 5's going to be unobstructed. Oh, barely dodged that -3. 70 points, okay. Getting there. Kind of running low on time, though. 82 is going to get me over the line. Just barely. So much for expert mode. Going to give me a collectible. Now, I did see that there was a record on the scoreboard. We should perhaps be aware of. Let's take a look. All-time high score is 99 by Toad. Today's high score is 82 by Mario. I do want to play this once or twice more just to see if we can go for the full 99. Might be a bit of a reach, but... no. We'll just see. It seems like it's doable, just needs a bit of accuracy. And a bit of good planning. Okay. And... oh, that was a dreadful miss. Yeah, I missed the 8-point target far too many times there, I think. For that to give me a reasonable shot at a record. Far too many whiffs there. Okay. And then we'll pick up a couple of these at once. Oh no. Dreadful. You got 100 on this, and it took you a while. Okay, hey, Reeboks. Speaking of Reebok 64, we scored 64. Maybe one more good attempt. I'm not going to make a serious attempt at this point, simply because I'm planning to just take this stream as far as the end of this chapter. So, Reeboks, hope you've been enjoying it so far on your end as well. Okay. Yeah, this is really just my second day with it. We've been still alternating it with Mario Maker streams on this end, so in the meantime, yeah, the first sitting with this game I felt kind of got off to a bit of a slow start, but I am warming up to it considerably. I think this has been really picking up. So, enjoying my time with it for sure. Whoops, a little bit late on that one. Oh no. No, that was a disaster. Okay. You thought you would hate it because you hated Color Splash, and you just cleared it. Okay. Well, congratulations. I'll have to look at some of your run after I'm done. I don't want to spoil it for myself in the meantime, but I think one more try. Yeah, like I would say that for the first chapter, wasn't quite feeling it, but whoops, wrong button. Remember to activate the hammer. But yeah, this session I feel like has been going quite well. You know, when I started doing the Blue Streamer quest, starting with the Autumn Mountains, that this has really picked up for me quite a bit. And, okay, this is going to be a disaster all over. Look at that, spectacular. And so yeah, it's sort of interesting that, I mean, I slowed down on this by having a few days away to the point that a lot of people who are dropping by now are ahead of me on this game and can kind of watch me fumble around on content they've cleared already. It is quite gorgeous. Oh, you didn't stream it. Okay, yeah. I think that's fair to say. I mean, I think that with single-player games where you really want to take your time with the puzzles and some of the collection, if you are a completionist, it's definitely much less of an interactive experience than, you know, if you're doing speedrun content, which you usually do with Odyssey, or if you're doing things like Mario Maker levels. For a small to medium streamer, I think that's very true, that, you know, it's much less social to be running games like this at your own pace. Oh, you got this a week early? Oh, okay. So anyway, let's do the baseball trade. I did kind of have the item sequence mapped out already. So we'll just need to figure out where the dry bones were. They were up top, north here. So it's not like you played through the whole thing in a day. No, I wouldn't think so. I have been surprised by how big some of the sections are. simply because you do have that two-part structure so far to each of the acts between the Vellumental dungeon and the sort of second major area. Let's give them the baseball. And we'll grab the bone, and it'll throw me a bone. Took around a week, okay. Yeah, I'm expecting to be at this for some time as well. But yeah, kind of trying to fit in both this and a regular rotation of Mario Maker week to week, but I was certainly not in a hurry to be getting this done too quickly. I thought it would be valuable anyway to just kind of record my progress and kind of see what it's like to solve some of the puzzles, and particularly the combat rings, blindly. So let's feed Princess the bone. And that's going to be classic Link's Awakening moment for us here. Oh, and she's gonna pet the chomp, and then, you know, the can you pet the dog Twitter account can be all over this one. I'm sure it's already covering this. Can you pet the chomp? Yes, you can pet the chomp. Can you violate the Geneva Convention? Quite possibly, but we'll see if we can do that. That is a significant boost, HP 20, huh? Didn't expect that all of a sudden. He was totally a bug. Fishing experience, yeah. Wasn't crazy about the motion control fishing from the tutorial segment that we had seen in World 1, but maybe that will eventually surprise me. Let's unlock some pathways to make the traversal a little bit easier. Yep, I can pet the dog. You turn off motion controls, okay. I generally tend to like motion controls. I didn't like it so much for the fishing. I'm okay with it for the hands. It helped that I did fix up my Joy-Con drift before I started playing this one. Fairly clear to me that there's going to be some kind of axial move here. We only have 2 moves, though. Okay, so that's fine. And it's just going to be hammer on all sides. I do really enjoy this combat system. I think it's spent way too long early on just being tutorial content that it was one-shotting constantly. But as the fights have become more complex with the enemy combinations, I think this has been a very positive development for how combat has been handled, especially after the previous 2 games, when I think some of the consumable item dependency was a big problem in terms of how it was being implemented and how things like boss fights were set up, particularly in Sticker Star. Color Splash I didn't have as much of a problem with, but, you know, it did inherit a lot of Sticker Star's problems. But the new combat system is tons of fun. And particularly because, you know, I kind of like spatial puzzles anyway, and so to have spatial puzzles mixed in with the conventional Paper Mario line combat has been pretty neat. Now, speaking of Devil, we were just talking about the fishing. Well, we might as well see if there's anything interesting to go with this. Not going to spend too much time. Wow, that's a big fish. I always have to get used to the fact that the pointing controls, as with the vacuum cleaner and Luigi's Mansion, are not actually rotational. But yeah, let's let this get a grip. By not rotational, I mean they're based on what direction you're pointing in, rather than turning counterclockwise or clockwise. It was a fake! A fake what? Like a fake fish? I don't know what that actually got me. Oh well, we can try one more, and in case it's something actually interesting. And yeah, the stick movement is... I don't find it intuitive for stick movement to be based on where you're pointing, and I did, as I said, have the same problem with Luigi's Mansion, which I loved. I do think that in some ways, you know, with the Paper Mario games being so much about the overworld puzzle exploration, that Luigi's Mansion has kind of upstaged it in that way, in being very, very good at doing that, you know, really kind of boiling down Zelda-style puzzle rooms into the interactive basics. Welcome to the House of Tricky Ninjas. A ninja residence full of tricks and traps. That's right, folks. The House of Tricky Ninjas. Will you escape unscathed, or will you trip and injure yourself? Enter if you dare. Yeah, it got me a ninja, that's very true. I don't know what the ninja was doing, but I guess we'll find out very soon. This whole thing sounds SSS super fun. Olivia loves this place. Loves this place. I love how the Bob-omb has just kind of given up on the fact that she keeps calling him Bobby and other names. At this point, he's just kind of capitulated to that new reality. And he is, regardless, not too scared for the ninja room. We'll see very shortly. Okay, we got something back here. Let's just give that a poke. And yeah, let's just unseal this in the meantime. And that Toad looking very distressed with the way it has been trapped down there. Huh. The shuriken on this sign are supposed to move. Well, the folks in the maintenance room are okay. Yeah, Reeboks, like I was saying much earlier in this game, I do find it very kind of interesting and self-knowing in a way that the running joke with Bobby is that Olivia keeps believing that he has some kind of unique name and identity. But I think Olivia, if you really pressed her on the question, would be a character who has strong opinions about the Paper Mario series. Okay. Luigi. Hopefully, perhaps. That's what we should expect. Did I actually have a way of getting through to the right side? It looks like there was some kind of... maybe some exit through the right side of this room here. Let me just kind of poke around and explore a bit more. No, we'll go in and we'll try to handle the combat by ourselves. But yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying about, you know, being much more engaged with combat in this game. In that, you know, even when it's not necessary, I find that I often want to do it just to solve more spatial puzzles. Escaping this deadly den requires mastery of shroom-style ninjutsu. I found, though, that Color Splash, I understood that the combat was a lot more fun when I just decided to play as aggressively as possible and try to kill everything as quickly as possible and really dump my items on every fight. Because it was clearly balanced that way, rather than being balanced around, you know, amassing things in your inventory endlessly and dealing chip damage to everything. Number of hidden ninjas you uncovered along the way. Okay. Well, the real friends were the ninjas we uncovered along the way. You get lost in there, ask for a hint. Let's see what this is. House of Tricky Ninjas, begin. Yeah, having the partner characters available. I mean, you haven't really seen them in a combat context yet. At least I haven't. But yeah, we'll see what this is all about. House of Tricky Ninjas. Is this open? Sliding door. Okay. What's this all about? Yeah. But despite the very slow start, I am definitely getting into this. And kind of seeing what a lot of this game has to offer. Okay. Just going to uncover what we can here. A lot of these, I think, add precursors in terms of the kind of interactions we're dealing with. Okay. I guess we just gotta poke around with every object here. There we go. Kind of wonder how much I missed in the previous room now that I look at this, because quite a lot going on here. We poke in every location. It does not really appear to be timed or anything. It's just a matter of unveiling all the secrets we can. Now here is a dojo. And let's fight the ninja. Yeah, this town is wonderful. And hey, ninja decoy. Interesting. Yeah, my performance with the ring puzzles tends to vary quite a bit. Sometimes, like, they just come together instantly. Sometimes just have tunnel vision for something that is extremely simple. Let's just see what we do for the boots. Let's see if the ninjas disappear under our feet. Nope. And that's not going to be nearly enough damage. Ninja drop. Oh, failed to block that one. Interesting, too, when you have enemy combinations on the board, that they have so many unique attacks. That adds a great deal of variety to the enemy attack patterns. When I see them anyway, which is not often because I don't tend to let the enemy attack me very much. Or at least haven't at this early stage of the game. But yeah, this whole segment here, I think, has been pretty impressive. Much more impressive than the tower that was at the end of the Red Streamer chapter, I think. I've been seeing a lot more creativity here than I did in the previous chapter, for sure. Okay, once again. I probably should have just lined them up for the hammer pattern instead. If that was possible, but in the meantime, let's just smack these guys. Yeah, it really seems like an elaboration of a lot of the better ideas in recent Paper Mario while dispensing with a lot of the things that just didn't work. And, okay. Not really doing these fights very cleanly, but that's just a function of the fairly low damage output that we have with the boots that I'm using currently. The Red Streamer is one of the weakest chapters in all of Paper Mario. I agree. It was kind of making me a little bit antsy about streaming the rest of this, but continuing with the Blue Streamer chapter today, I think, has significantly elevated my opinion of how this has been going. I feel like it has really suddenly taken off. And okay, we'll just move these guys into hammer range. That'll be fairly simple. And probably will need a second round just because of their HP pool. Oh, okay. So that's what a decoy interaction is. Interesting. Let me try to understand what's going on with the decoy. I'm going to try the hammer once again. Just to see what's going on here. Oh, I see. Okay, so I guess they're only vulnerable to jump. Possibly they're only vulnerable to jump. Let's actually learn how to block these for once. I also think the damage output is quite well balanced from the enemies. That's like I actually enjoy that the damage numbers that are incoming are so high to really punish you for not playing cleanly. Of course, I'm kind of deliberately playing this on a, you know, kind of not hard setting, but I guess standard setting by not relying on the timer extension. I did leave the timer extension off because I really did want to learn how to play this properly. We'll need some kind of mushroom replenishment after this for sure, I think. But yeah, let's actually use a mushroom. Not something I've had to do very often, but, you know, our pride can take a little bit of a hit, I think. You turned a timer extensions on, but not health and guard. Okay, let's see. Yeah, no, I mean I have the standard timer extender accessory that gives me the extra 10 seconds, but I don't have the auto extension that dips into your coin pool. That is kind of available as an assistive mode. I wonder if they're vulnerable to fire. I'm going to try to fire flower on them, just to see. Okay. Just going to play around with this for testing purposes. Oh yeah, that's just going to nuke them all at once. I quite like that. But we'll stomach another round of this anyway. We'll learn some of the block timings regardless. And so I just gotta learn it the hard way. Bad guard timing on my part here. Yeah, very pretty game in many ways. I guess the drop just expends one of the enemy ninjas as well. Yeah, I mean, I do like how configurable it is in terms of people finding out how to make the game most fun and playable for themselves. Okay. You know, I need to stop whacking these guys with a hammer. It doesn't work. Even as the opening attack, you can see that the opening attack already shows you how the decoy works, and I just have not learned from that properly. So let's get these into jump columns. And yeah, I feel like I want to at least nuke one of them. I mean, you know, I can actually just take one column out with a pair of attacks. I think that's probably better. Should be thinking in terms of damage mitigation. Yeah, now that the HP pools are big enough that you can't just one-shot everything with standard attacks, now I really feel like the tactics are getting much more interesting in terms of the trade-offs that you can choose to make. Okay, let's finish them off. I really enjoyed the puzzle mode in the battle lab, though. Like, one of the first things I did in Chapter 1 was I realized that just doing the Chapter 1 battles was not going to teach me anything, because they were all just one step and very simple. And so I just went into the battle lab right away and tried to grind out some decent scores in the timed survival mode. I've actually only gotten up to a high score of 8 so far, because my execution tends to be very slow, even when I do see a solution. And so, you know, my streak always just comes to a dead stop when I see anything that I can't visualize instantly. But developing a kind of good visualization strategy for the puzzles, I think, is something that just needs to take practice, because it is something that's so original to this game. And okay, it looks like it's going to be moving this stack back, moving this stack over. And yeah, same as before, we'll just do it one stack at a time, just clear them out. And the lineup on the red markers gets me the 1.5 bonus. And so even if we don't clear every stack out at once, taking advantage of 1.5 bonus is probably helpful. So they're going to try to combo me from all sides. Yeah, like I said, really great balancing on the incoming damage, for sure. I mean, I guess you're working with very large HP pools relative to older Paper Mario games, so you can't afford to have a lot of flexibility and granularity with these numbers, but at the same time, they are low enough to feel like Paper Mario rather than feeling like a vastly inflated JRPG. Okay, perfect. And yeah. Sorry, I'm a little behind in chat. I've just been trying to nail the timings here. Did I play Bug Fables? I've had that recommended to me extensively, and I know the port just came out for the Switch a month ago. I have not, but I am aware of it, and I know that a lot of the people who miss 64 and Thousand Year Door do say that Bug Fables is kind of doing its job. We're totally going to need an HP refresh. Look at me miss every time because I keep forgetting that the hammer activates the decoy. Every single time, just blowing that at every possible opportunity. I need to use the mushroom for sure this time, I think, but we'll get the lineup going first. Let's use a mushroom. I think that might use one action point. That's fine. And then I'll use a flower to nuke one stack. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I really did discover that, you know, since these games tend to be tuned on the easy side, that, like, trying to do, you know, really dynamic play that uses all of the systems just tends to be more fun than trying to be an item hoarder. And I am somebody who is a really bad item hoarder in RPGs. And in general, like, I always just tend to think about resource conservation and trying to play cost efficiently. I think in a game like this, it's much more fun to just not really think about cost efficiency too much. I mean, if I were really playing with total abandon, obviously I would just spend the higher tier weapons in every single fight, which I'm not doing. Like, I am still kind of being a little bit of a pack rat. Yeah, well, good to know that you can vouch for Bug Fables Rebox. And good to know that it also has a hard mode. I didn't know Bug Fables had a hard mode, actually. I keep telling people that the thing I loved about Thousand Year Door was how good an experience it is to play a 10 HP run where you never upgrade HP. I felt like that was really something that made the systems of the game completely take off. Particularly if you lower yourself to 5 HP and just play in peril mode the whole time, but there are some fights where that doesn't work quite well. But I think it was always one of the things that really showed off the depth of Thousand Year Door, that the badge system would give you enough flexibility to do something like a 10 HP run and still have a huge variety of tactics to work with. It's not possible in 64 because 64 has a very low badge point cap, as you might remember, before you were forced to upgrade. flower points and hit points. And I remember discovering that because, of course, when I played 64 for the first time, which I played after Thousand Year Door, the first thing I tried was trying to do low HP runs. But yeah, the fact that Bug Fables has a hard mode, and from what you're telling me is an interesting hard mode, that's, I think, really does kind of sell the game to me. Because the old style Paper Mario RPG systems, I think, are seriously underrated as a system. Like the mix of the partners and badges and so on, and the relatively low controllable numbers that you're working with. Yeah, straight off the bat, Bug Fables gives you a hard mode badge. Yeah, I love that idea. That's a... I keep doing that. That's a developer that sounds like they know how to cater to me, so... I would love to get back to streaming some more indie games in general. I mean, I feel like my stream for the past few months has pretty much been 100% Mario Maker, because I can't get enough of Mario Maker, but when I was starting out, I was recording some indie games for, like, one viewer max at any given time, but, you know, not a very social experience, but it did allow me to show off some things that were very rarely shown on Twitch, where hardly anybody would be playing the stuff at all. It was nice just to, you know, learn some of those games on the fly and record that footage. Bug Fables, I would imagine, is a little more popular than that and has had a fair bit of coverage, but it is definitely a candidate for something I would like to bring on stream, especially if it does have a hard mode that would be fun to watch as well. Oh, I'm sorry about the link. Let me try to get in there and permit you in just a second. I should actually put a warning on my chat box that the auto mod is so aggressive about links. Just give me a minute. Let me finish this fight, and then I'll permit the link. And hopefully that works. Yeah, let me permit you. And hopefully the permit command works. It's been very unreliable for me. So. Yeah, unfortunately, Nightbot doesn't give me any moderation options that have a bit of a lighter hand. Like, early on I did have some spam blocking issues, and unfortunately, like, there isn't a good way to have it be less aggressive. Menu codes. Okay, interesting. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I'll definitely take a look at that later on. It looks like we've pretty much uncovered every panel at this point. Yeah, that was a surprising series of fights in terms of how many mushrooms I actually had to consume. It's very rare that Paper Mario ever makes me really do much in the way of consumable items. Looks like we'll just do a bit of a chase. But yeah, the more I play this, the more I like the balancing. Which surprises me. I really did not expect decent balancing after the last few games. Where, you know, the last few games you really did have to find your own fun, and as you discovered, Reeboks, like, for a lot of players, even very serious long-time players, perhaps especially serious long-time players, it was kind of difficult to do that. Okay, we'll check this side first. Hey, Mr. Laser. Welcome. Hey, Mr. Laser, I was actually just talking earlier about... we had a Shakespeare request earlier today, and I found it really kind of neat that you've also caught on to doing a Shakespeare reward. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to come over and cash that in on your end sometime as well. Authorized personnel. Gears and beige walls, okay. I'm just going to... I'm going to go down there, of course, but I want to peek over here first and see if there's... I guess the ninjas were kind of leading me to go to the left. So, of course, we'll go to this side first and see what's going on here. No, don't. Okay. I mean, the thing about seeing you say no, don't, is that I don't know which option you were referring to, so... Oh, Luigi. Okay. Massive waste of time. Massive time waste if you go through that door because you can't come back. Oh, I see. Interesting. Didn't know that. Somebody, anybody, preferably a Mario if possible, save me. Oh, I see, because in... Well, let's take a look at this. Because this certainly seems like it's the main route. But that the ninjas were clearly trying to lead you into chasing. It's cool to play this again because there are toads you have to find anyway, yeah. I realized that early on when I was playing the Red Streamer chapter and finding it really slow, was that this is a game where trying to be completionist on the first pass through a section is not really something that makes sense. Even in some of the dungeon areas where you clearly can do it. Like, this is definitely a game where the areas were set up to be replayed. And I found that the pace of getting through these sections has felt a lot better managed ever since I just caught on to that and decided, you know, that I don't really need to check it that obsessively. Because there are certain percentages that I won't be able to clear anyway until some kind of story gate has been released. So, Luigi has a surprise. It's the key to Peach's castle. Okay, well. Oh, I see. Okay. Master key to Shogun Studios. You wouldn't believe the day I've had in this wacky theme park. Okay. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of doors to unlock, some chests to pop open. That's okay. I'd rather have the key to this park at this moment. Not like we can get to Peach's castle and Luigi is doing some work for us for once. Okay, so Mr. L's just going to go on his parallel adventure, as always. Yep, definitely doubting that. Okay. So much for the maintenance layer. In the meantime, we'll just follow the ninjas forward and see how else everything is gated. But yeah, definitely going to keep that in mind with Bug Fables. I mean, I did have it on my wish list pretty much as soon as it was up on the eShop, but I have been so swamped with games, I was thinking that it might be some time before I get to it. Okay, that's rather clearly an invisible block. Looks like this is going to be... Oh, one of these, okay. I recognize this from something. I mean, it's a pretty common Nintendo trope. I see this in a lot of games. But it does seem like the margin for travel is fairly narrow, like in terms of when the warnings come up. Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean, I might as well traverse the whole thing because that will allow me to raise as many of the toads as possible. Yeah, don't know if there's a safer way to do this because even the standard walking speed just kind of rams you into things constantly. See, you can't go back from this room, so I would have had to go back again when I realized I missed Luigi. Okay, yeah. That's sort of interesting because the ninja chase is sort of designed to mislead the player into coming here first, if you think about it. So it's like it's expecting missing Luigi to be the standard path. At least that's my impression. That's interesting. This thing here. Don't know if there's anything that can be done with it. Maybe I can read it. Nope. That's a bit of a strange and unconventional design, but we'll get back to where we were. Oh, interesting. Oh, I guess there's skewers. Like, you know, restaurant signage or something. Oh, and I'm gated off from here anyway, so I need to go around a side, don't I? Yeah. Like this. No. The other side. Perhaps? Hang on. I feel like I lost track of what I was doing here. And, okay, I totally lost track of what I was doing. Yeah. It's always a little bit difficult to sort of second guess the logic of... I see. Oh, I see. Okay, so you can raise all of them. So the idea is to run around until you raise all of them, I guess. And because I am somebody who, you know, when the game tries to convince me to go one way, I usually try to go the other way first. And... oh, okay. Okay, it wasn't too hard to visualize, actually. I think we did activate most of that room at great cost. And so here on the upper level, okay, we got to fight some of these guys. I'm sure he's going to try to steal some coins off me. If you know anything about how they typically work. Not going to let that happen if I can help it. I got 2 apart. Pretty straightforward, I think. Alright, don't remember how much damage they take. Let's see if we can take them out in one go. Yep. Pretty simple. And let's go. Okay. Oh, was trying to hammer them in advance, and instead we'll have a 2-wave battle. Going to go into alert mode? Yeah, well, thanks for dropping by anyway. Having a bit of conversation. Somebody who's already finished this up, so... appreciate you coming by, and thank you for lurking. Yeah, as I said, I am just going to take it as far as the end of the blue streamer sequence here, I think. We're reasonably close to that. And then that'll be it for this session. And next stream from me will almost certainly be covering this week's batch 4YMM. Okay, let's just use the water elemental. So yeah, it's just going to be alternating between this and Mario Maker through the weekend. That'll hopefully be a little bit of something for everybody. Okay, no damage in wave battle. That worked out fairly well. Let's grab the mushroom. going to explore all sides in the meantime, just see what's going on here. Yeah. Oh, that looks suspicious. I wonder how close we are to Toad completion. I only really started paying attention to some of this Toad mechanics when we got into the second room in a sequence, and so who knows what else we've missed. Okay, going to hammer that guy. And here we are. Looks like that's a bit of an exit to the bottom, but I want to see if we can cut this path across. And yeah. You know, these invisible block sequences here, I wonder why I wasn't thinking of them in some areas that we've seen before, including in Toad Town, where it looked like I needed to traverse a gap of about that width. That's not something I've tried very often, and it clearly is a solution that the game likes to present. It looks like dropping directly here is the way forward. Fairly clear to me that that's what's going on, so let's do that. And head out the door. Close. It's going to give you an additional guy. Oh, looks like we have something else coming up. Don't really know what the filing system is all about. I'm sure we'll find out very soon. Oh, here's a suspicious looking panel. There we go. Okay. And let's go forward. See what else awaits. Oh, look at this. The Shogun Thwomp, I guess. That's a really cool design. Also indicates to me that maybe we're going to be at risk of being thwomped. Okay, so that's going to be quite a crowd. See how we do. We're kind of at half HP right now. But taking out that guy who has the elemental marker would probably be a big part of making this click. And, wait. Moving this guy back like that. And moving these guys over here. You see 2 jumps and a hammer. Great. I think I want... No, I don't want a hammer, because the hammer always misses with the ninjas. Okay. Didn't really consider this properly. Let me then see what the range on the Tanuki tail is. I wonder if they would dodge the Tanuki tail like they dodged the hammer, though. And I kind of suspect they might, so why don't we just take out as much as I can on either side. Probably going to expend these shiny boots, but... Yeah, really should have thought this through, that the hammer setup does not actually benefit me here when it comes to getting that elemental down. Now, the shiny boots had already been marked as low durability, but it seems like even at low durability, it does allow me to get multiple hits down. And we have a third action here. And I kind of want to try the Tanuki tail, but I think it's maybe better if I just, kind of considering the POW block. Nah, we don't need anything that does quite that much. Iron boots. Yeah, they're not exactly spiked, but it might be enough damage to put me through. Let's just, yeah, go with iron, see if that does enough damage with a standard jump. Now, if I don't clear out completely, do I get access to the seal? Yeah, alright, is that something that's saved for the next wave? Oh, it's immediate, okay. That's actually kind of too bad. I didn't want to use the elemental power right here. That's okay. Kind of would have ideally wanted to save that for the second wave. But it seemed like you have to be pretty quick about getting the seal recovered. Okay, once again, looks like we'll have some kind of interesting motion here where 3 moves, okay. I want to have these guys in position, whoops. And then, yeah, get in position for a jump. You have 2 attacks. Let's just take them out one at a time. And, yeah. Just take them off the board. And they'll gang up on me a little bit, but it's going to be a manageable volume of incoming damage, and so we'll just gonna line up for another jump. And here we go once again. And line them up once more. Press Y for louder cheers. Ah, we're okay. I feel like doing these fights without much assistance is already pretty decently balanced, so. Last wave, we still have more to come. Wow, that's a lot to work with here. But I think doing that is going to help. Oh, I definitely did kind of mess that up. I think I actually did want to move these in alignment, perhaps. Before swiveling these forward. Yeah, that's going to be a disaster. Okay, that's going to be terrible. But I'll just try to do everything I can to mitigate some of this. That toad in the back is saying, try a tail, trust me. I don't really trust him. We are going to have 3 attacks, so I can at least get 1 stack damage and 2 stacks... No, 1 stack damage and 1 stack removed. So we can just remove as much as we can off the board. I think within a standard attack, that's still going to be enough damage to get us over probably 20 HP they're sitting on, I would be guessing. And let's just fire flower these guys. Okay. Should mitigate a fair bit of damage from wave 3 here. Going to get me down into the thumping red zone on the HP meter. But this is going to be enough for us to clean them out. Okay, one more. interesting that I was reduced to a single attack there. I kind of wonder how the action budget is in fact determined in terms of how many attacks you have. It might be something that scales with the number of enemies that are on the board, where with 4 enemies you're perhaps just limited to 1 attack at any given time. But the system behind that is still a little bit unclear to me, so let's grab the hands as well as all the confetti. 1000-fold arms, here we go. And probably just rip this guy down. Okay, that's going to turn the Thwomp to an angry face. And that's going to be an escape sequence. Would be a bad time to die after that previous fight. Definitely didn't want to have a one-hit snipe at the back of that, and that's the end of the ninja room, I guess. Congratulations, you survived a deadly house of tricky ninjas. Now, did I actually uncover all of them, or did I miss a few? Figured out every trick. Great job, you ninja master. Perfection is within your grasp. Okay, only 22. Flippin' sweet ninja, so... Eventually we will actually want to go back to it and get a full count. I don't know what a full count would be. Maybe it's something like a round number like 25. But of course it took me a little while to understand what was going on with the ninja mechanic on the first try. So 22 is perhaps reasonable. Good thing Luigi got caught in those gears. Now we have the whole master key. But yeah, I would bet it's some kind of collectible trophy. Also, we haven't checked this rear location yet, and it looks very much like we just need to ride that shuriken marker over in order to do that. So, we'll head back here. When did they fix the sign? Okay, Mario's going to be sad crumpled paper in the meantime. But yeah, really nice area in general. I think this game has taken off quite well. And yeah, you know, plenty of hints throughout that I was supposed to look for Luigi. So in the meantime, we'll take the master key back around the park and look at some of those locked doors that we had poked around with earlier. No fishing right now. Yeah, it seems like there will be plenty of reason to come back here for some completionism eventually, but not right now. Usually I would. Usually. But, for the time being, I think it's better to just whack a save block. And let's see if there has been any state change in this tea house since we had restored some of the staff. We've gotten a soda. If he might have said that last time as well. Yeah, in the meantime, we'll just continue. I think there were some doors that were previously inaccessible to us. Don't remember if they were anything like this. Now we've been to this room. And the one beside it, if I recall. But yeah, just going to do a bit of exploration in the meantime to see if there were any locked spots earlier that we should be aware of now. Like this door over here, which I I think should be vulnerable to the Master Key. Yeah, that's just going to be a toad puzzle, by the looks of it. Not really seeing how that's going to work, though. Oh, probably just from closing the door. There we go. He strategically sequestered himself. And so we'll get the shop up and running, which will be nice. Look at that. Fire hammers and ice hammers, as well as a trophy model. Let's take a look at some of the prices. Okay, that's going to be a nice big coin dump of about 12k. Big show of theater. I have plenty of coins to spare, and so I think we should just grab it. Ice hammer and fire hammer. I actually do have a fire hammer for some reason. Let's just stock up on a few anyway. Not that we've been using the alternate weapons all that often, but we'll just get 2 apiece. Yeah, maybe power through some of the later fights. It says here that you spent more than 5,000 coins. And I'll get some kind of loyalty reward, the membership card. Oh, okay. Well, that would have been useful to know before we continued spending. Let's maintain that card. So yeah, that is a reason to spend. Let's head to the accessories. Oh, I guess it's not on the accessories. Where is it then? Membership card? Where did you go? Hang on. Okay, membership card has not been applied yet. Let me just try to scan. Ah, yeah, membership card right here. Oh, I see. So you can only have access to maximum of 2 of these at a time. So you get confetti range, and cherry blossoms, or confetti range and membership card. Let's do I want cherry blossoms, which are very pretty, or do I want confetti range? I think I want cherry blossoms. Maybe we can regret that later when we see something else like the river ride. But for now, we'll also do a bit of weapon configuration. Seems we haven't actually done that in a while. Yeah, long range hammer, fire hammer, shiny hurl hammer. Yeah, let's get fire in here for now. Actually, no, it might be better to get ice in there simply because we do have access to the fire flower. Shiny boots are getting quite close to being consumed. It's fine. I have a spare. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to exit the shop. Let's see if anything is going on in the initial rooms. I think there was only one other significant locked door that we saw earlier in one of the top corners of the park. And we'll just head up to that. These guys are still kind of hanging around. Doesn't seem like they've been updated on the state of affairs. And so yeah, we'll just wrap around. I believe we had seen these previous rooms completely. Yeah, it was just that one additional locked door at the very end, I think, but we'll just check these anyway. Just out of a certain commitment to diligence. Still have a toad going on here, but we'll check them eventually. Oh, you know what? It totally is this. I'd noticed that top corner previously, but not how to traverse my way up to it. And so yeah, let's wrap back around and look for that lock. Photo Studio I don't think was ever actually restaffed, even though we did unlock the staff room. So that is something to... Oh no, this guy's here. No, because we discovered him earlier, okay. So... yeah, Photo Studio is still kind of disabled for the time being. That's something we'll have to go back and recover at another point. Now this guy we had already rescued. Let's wrap him back around. And yeah, I believe it was this door at the back that was one of the locks we had to deal with. One of them. There was another one that had a chest hidden behind it. I think it was much later, though. And I actually did see... And you solved the puzzle. House of Riddles. Ah, okay, it's a puzzle. Let's do it. Puzzles are great. And okay. Looks like we have 3 different doors. This seems jammed. And this is quite close to the first door that we had seen, except, yeah, a little bit different. I think it's roughly symmetrical when you look at the layouts of the cabinets on the side. I believe it is mirrored. The fact that it's mirrored, it tells me that we could perhaps pay attention to the cushions. Cushions. Don't really have a general sense of how to interact with pieces yet. So can I solve the riddle? Could be that I have to match the cushions. But then match them to what? It could be... What else is mirrored here that is actually interactive? Part of the issue is that I actually don't know how to do much. Oh, okay, no, you can check either side, okay. Let's check that side once again. Okay. Might take a little bit of thought. Yeah, I hadn't really figured out how to interact with these pieces, you know, holding the little pots there at the end. When I had seen them earlier in this game. So, like, can you solve the riddle? Can you solve the puzzle? Can you solve the puzzle as mirrored? The rooms are mirrored. Let's take a look at what isn't mirrored. We should be looking for some kind of essential difference between the two. Look at door images and the slopes. I feel like manipulating the doors might do something valuable here. This has not really revealed anything to me. Cushion colors, matching them has not really revealed anything to me. Yeah, there might be some essential interactions that I haven't figured out how to do. The fact that these doors are not operable from the middle seems significant, but they're not operable from the sides either, unlike what we had seen over here. So it could be that... How are you liking Paper Mario? I'm liking it quite a bit, actually. I felt like it got off to a very slow start. This is my second day with it. My first day, I thought, you know, I wasn't quite sure what I was in for, because it felt like the early tutorial zones and the early section of the game was just very long and very easy without being very interesting, while showing off a battle system that had a ton of potential that was not being used yet. I found that it has taken off considerably, that in the course of my doing the second chapter, which I've been doing over the last few hours, it has become significantly more interesting. That the battle systems have been pushed quite a bit. The interactions in the world that you can see here have been pushed quite a bit, like they're a lot more fascinating now. Interesting. The cabinet here, that's a significant difference. Now I understand it. Yeah, there we go. Got it. It is a spot difference interaction, and that I have to solve this riddle and grab the treasure. That should give me a heart refill along with a +5, I think. Great. Perfect. So yeah, I'm liking quite a bit now, actually. Really been on a streak of interesting content over the past couple hours in this session. You've never played a Paper Mario game before? Okay. Many of them are quite different. This is, of course, the 6th game. 64 and 1000 Year Door kind of go together as a set in that... I mean, all of them are independently playable. Like, none of them are dependent on each other's stories or mechanics or whatever. But 64 was kind of like a template game that was perfected by 1000 Year Door. Super Paper Mario is kind of its own thing, where you kind of have a light side-scrolling platformer in place of RPG mechanics. Although the platforming is not particularly intense. It doesn't feel like a platforming game, but the main interaction is jumping around on a 2D plane. Sticker Star and Color Splash kind of go together as a set in that they share a lot of similarities, and a lot of similarities that were controversial, because they were much less RPG-like than the original games. This one is very interesting in its own right, in that the overworld content, in terms of running around the environments and solving puzzles, opening doors, etc., is pretty close to the last few games in particular, and, you know, that's pretty much a constant in this series. But the new battle system is a very brand new kind of spatial puzzle that basically adds a whole new dimension to how Paper Mario RPG battles used to work. And if I get into a fight soon, I can show you what I mean by that. Oh yeah, and it's a very gorgeous game. Very gorgeous game, for sure. So yeah, this kind of overworld, you know, explore, solve puzzles, unlock doors kind of thing, it's pretty standard stuff. Like, it's typical of the series. But the kind of finer points of the systems, like the battle mechanics and such, do change every time. And the way the paper flavor is used also changes. Did we just hit a save block? I think I felt like we did. Regardless, we're going to come in here, and this will be quite close to the boss segment, I think, of this entire area. And then that's as far as I'm going to play in this section. I am actually kind of surprised by how large this is. So we have some kind of boss coming up. Okay, lots of mache monsters. Big show theater. I have, of course, a series of disguises that will allow me to sneak by. So, I think the Goomba costume is going to get me through here. Yeah, the Vitruvian Man, I was always thinking that even in Mario Maker 2, I thought, like, a Paper Mario game style would be quite unique. The thing about Paper Mario is that a lot of it is built on... well, I mean, I can't really show you because I'm in costume, but a lot of it is built on the fact that you have access to both of the classic jump and hammer interactions that have been around, of course, since Mario was introduced in Donkey Kong. And so you're constantly alternating between jump and hammer attacks. But Super Paper Mario specifically kind of provides a template for how that might work in a side-scroller setting. There are also a lot of unique enemies to the older Paper Mario games, but unfortunately it seems like Nintendo is never bringing them back. Like, if you look up the Koopa Troll was always my favorite. Like, it was this heavily armored and spiked elite Koopa soldier, and, you know, it was pretty much designed such that you would have to expose its weakness before you were able to jump on it or get close to it. And so between that and a hammer moveset, I think there is quite a lot that can be done with a Paper Mario style as an eventual sort of special style or something like that in a Maker context. I also always thought that Paper Mario himself would have made for a very good moveset in Smash Brothers, like if they ever wanted to include Paper Mario as a character. There's enough material to make him very distinct from how standard Mario plays. So, yeah, like pretty much everything in Paper Mario you interact with the hammer or the jump. And, you know, like these games have never been very platforming focused, but Super Paper Mario is the closest one to operating like a side-scroller. This part is cool, okay. Today's performance, open seats, a few remaining, start time momentarily. I guess we've been invited to the show. So we still have the Samus and Donkey Kong costumes that have remained unused. A very special performance directed by me, myself, and I, starring... Why, spoiled surprise. Big Show Theater is a unique tower-style theater, offering a variety of shows in 4 different floors, so I guess we'll be traversing 4 different floors. Yeah. So let's see what this is all about. I'm quite looking forward to this. Attention, honored guests of Big Show Theater. Your attention, if you please. Yeah, the Vitruvian Man, given the way the LEGO Mario crossover is going currently, I would not be surprised with that either. Given that, you know, with LEGO City Undercover, there have been some deals with Nintendo and the LEGO license even before the LEGO sets they're introducing now. And okay. Special performance. Well, I mean, what else will we do? Of course we're going to... Let's go forward and proceed. I mean, I guess in some ways Mario Maker is a LEGO Mario game. It's probably the closest that a video game has come, I think, to replicating what playing with LEGO, particularly the really interactive, programmable, advanced LEGO sets, actually feels like. Last call, there are still 3 very open seats in the very front row. This is Toad, who's tied up in the back. This is totally a trap. We know seats are scarce, but this is a bit much to ask of us, do you think? Oh, okay, it's like 5 Toads tied up together. And, yeah, this is so suspicious. So suspicious. But hey, front row seating, we'll do it. I'm gonna poke around a curtain first. But... I don't know if you've ever seen the mechanism behind, like, a theater curtain in a professional auditorium, like in an opera house or something, but the curtains are actually really interesting. They're extremely durable because they do have this retractable fireproof shielding behind them. And they're very heavy-duty stuff. Like, they're not curtains in a traditional fabric sense. I can't wait to see what kind of show this is. It must be a full-on Shogun celebration. Special show, special show. I can't wait. Let's go. Electric Dude, guess what you're playing right now? You're definitely playing Minecraft. Or Mario Maker. It seems like you're playing... Well, you're definitely no longer playing Just Shapes and Beats because you told me you were finished with it, so... It's either Minecraft or Mario Maker. Yeah, these toads are totally decoys. Because they're paper. And they're all tied up and trapped. You would think that you would have been able to hear their screams of anguish and terror, given that none of them are gagged and that they've been trapped here the whole time. You would think that somebody would have noticed. Unless they're just kind of squirming silently. And muted by some horror. It's kind of like a... You'll recognize the scene, of course, from The Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange. It's a literal captive audience. What's tying them down? Not rope, but something to do with the boss. Sure. Yeah, and Mr. Electric Dude, I am planning to do 4IMM for the next stream, so... Opening the menu screen while on stage is also prohibited. Okay. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, this guy's being held hostage. Oh, look at that poor toad having its head all bunched up. A dry wind blows through a quiet prairie town. The people of this town lead simple lives, but they also live in the fear. Oh, it's an old western. You think that deadly outlaw will show his face again today? I hope not. He raises such a ruckus when he comes to town. No ninjas? No shoguns? So this is kind of interesting in that there has, of course, been a traditional crossover between Westerns and the Japanese samurai film, and that was something that Kurosawa was, of course, very well aware of, and the Kurosawa films were each remade into these Italian spaghetti westerns, scored by the recently departed composer Ennio Morricone. Grr, hand over your valuables or there will be trouble. There's a snake in my boots. And so having an old western in a Japanese theater is, I think, very oddly fitting. Oh, wait, is there a hero among us who might stand up to this ruffian? Thank you for the save block. Let's see. Interesting that the score, speaking of the devil, we were just talking about Morricone, and you can definitely tell that this is meant to imitate some of the instrumental flavor of a Morricone score. Once you get close to the boss, you can see how they're affecting the people. Like the drawings on a wall in the first world. Yeah, that's true, with all the colored pencil illustrations scrawled everywhere. And here you see the little strands of, well, that are tying everybody down and holding the toad hostage. What's this? You think you're gonna stand in my way, lawman? Okay, we're going to have a draw. We're gonna have a duel. Okay. When you see fire, press A. Well, luckily, we managed to practice back when the Switch had not yet been released, and I went to one of the demo events to play 1-2 Switch. I remember this part from 1-2 Switch. Fire too early or too late and you lose. Only press A when you see fire. So yeah, all that 1-2 Switch practice is going to come in very handy here. Because that's literally exactly what this is. The hero was quicker on a draw and popped that outlaw to pieces. And so, peace returned to the town thanks to the mysterious lawman. Serves them right for thinking they can defund the police. Town sheriff's not going to have any of that talk around here. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Dropping your guard a little too soon, ain't ya? Lovely how there's always been a theatrical motif to so much of Super Mario to begin with, starting with Super Mario 3 and of course extending to Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door, which was built entirely in a theatrical context. But yeah, let's jewel to Spike. Last time we had a distraction to Tumbleweed kind of going everywhere, but Spike is going to come in for round 2 of 1-2 switch. Going to have a couple fake outs here. Going to have the firing mark in a slightly different position. Well, I mean, obviously there's going to be a third villain before we're out of this zone. But let's collect some confetti. In the meantime, oh, I'm not allowed to use my hammer, that's right, because the sets do remain in place. Gahaha, so you're the pesky lawman I've heard so much about. Alright, fine. Well, this is the best show I've ever seen. Yeah, check out my gang, but can you beat me? So, Sniffit is going to be the ringleader. So here's a 1-2 switch, round 3. A lot of little environmental distractions here. So we wait for the firing marker to come up. There are going to be a couple of fake outs, of course. With lightning speed, the lawman defeats the vile gang leader. I love how we just politely follow the rules and don't fire at each other until they actually say fire. I actually kind of wonder what it would have been like to try to deliberately violate some of that. But we're not done yet. We still have a couple of stages to go. Now we can use the hammer. We want to explore the stage a little bit. Oh hey, I can actually go backstage. Wonderful. Paper Macho Sniffit Outlaw. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Samus costume is going to be used in this segment. And Donkey Kong for that matter, but you know. Metroid doesn't really get its due often enough in other Nintendo properties. Look at this guy. It's like he's being, you know, bound in such a fashion that he's being mind-controlled by force. It's kind of like how, you know, if he disobeys the orders that have been given to him by whoever's in control of the theater, then the knot will kind of gradually tighten and subject him to greater torture. So that's how control is being maintained in the most brutal of ways. Okay. Obvious Toad is obvious. We recasted a cactus. He has tremendous cactus energy. Well, I suppose he does. He's a bit of a bristly character. Alright, let's pop back out. Saloon doors. Had to check that, of course. Just wanted to check the set. Gonna hit the save block in case any of the quick time events like firing into duel was actually going to be an instant kill quick time event, which I do not put past this game. This game does not shy from the occasional instant kill. Usually very avoidable, but it does happen. And that was the issue I had with Color Splash as well. That, you know, I mean, Paper Mario has a history of doing some of those fake outs, like the instant kill that is in the murder mystery train section of Thousand-Year Door was quite memorable. Time for the next stage. Let's make sure he breaks a leg this time. Hee hee hee. Please keep your arms and legs tucked safely inside the aisles. Yeah, that's a theme park, all right. Moving up with a captive audience, which, you know, They all have their seatbelts safely fastened. So, what's show number 2? That Toad who's running the show looks so sad. Hey, it's Birdo. I guess it makes sense for Birdo to be in stage 2. It's Koopa Gang snapping his fingers. It's like a West Side Story. Look at this. It totally is West Side Story. It totally is. Like, listen to the music there with the way that we're being introduced. So if you're the Jets, who are the Sharks, right? Hey there, good looking. Wanna go start some trouble? And she's not gonna start some trouble because she and her brothers are all from Puerto Rico, right? So here are the Puerto Rican Koopas coming in. Scram Sam, she's gonna be my main squeeze tonight. I need a strong little go-getter, a rugged handyman who gets the job done. And lucky me, I hear we have a celebrity in the audience who fits the bill. He's got sensitive eyes, a burly mustache, nice and beefy calves to power those big jumps. Get on up here, Mario. Let's see you go toe-to-toe with these Shellians. Okay, I was not expecting West Side Story to show up in Paper Mario. That is fantastic. But hey there, overalls. Glad you could join us. I mean, I guess it kind of fits in with the way that Mario was represented in the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Film, as being this icon of Italian immigration in New York. I mean, the Italians don't figure into New York in West Side Story, but the immigration theme, I think, is continuous. You're the greaser this bird is gaga for? What a load of baloney. Yeah, we'll see how tough he is. Let's dance. Good clean fight. Try to not bruise each other too badly. Oh, okay. So you have to fight the Jets and the Sharks. I have to go back to this in the recording later just to enjoy the music properly on its own when I'm not dodging the shells all the time. I suppose I have to jump on shells from time to time. Let's actually try to do that. And we'll try to... Oh, wanted to kick that. So yeah, it's old school Rumble. Yeah, I never expected that someday Mario would be directly influenced by the Broadway choreography of Jerome Robbins, but here we are. This is absolutely brilliant. So, you know, I was already kind of gushing about the spaghetti westerns in a Japanese theatrical context a moment ago, and okay, I guess we didn't really disperse them evenly. They're pretty tough after all, but playtime's over. Yeah, it's time to bust out the advanced choreography. Oh, whoops. Okay, didn't expect to take that much damage. Oh, whoops. Was trying to approach that guy with a hammer. Yeah. Now I have to jump on a shell first, of course, just to get it stationary. Not really good approach. It is really fascinating. If you know the original Bernstein score for West Side Story very well, like how much this music is actually making reference to it in terms of style. Like, it's actually unbelievable that this is in the game. I knew you'd mop the floor of those delinquents, but my gosh. Now I've got Mario Madness, and you've got the only cure. Birdo, that does not seem hygienic. Like, sooner or later, Birdo is just going to fire an egg out of her snout, and it's going to have disturbing implications. Come on, Mario. Get it together. It's just a stage kiss. The thing is, Birdo is not even Origami here, so she's supposed to be on our side. Like, Birdo is not the enemy here. Tough luck, overalls. Despite my prior warnings, here you are, with egg on your face. And as my cue to exit. Ciao, Mario. I'll be dreaming of our next performance. This is not even Birdo's first appearance in this game, actually. Birdo was here in the prologue with the lake earlier. Wow, she only had 2 lines in a rehearsal. Huh. Yes, and Birdo also has a talent for improvisation. Sorry, Mario, we're not done yet. Okay, let's take a look at play number 3. I'm going to explore the wings a little bit, of course, as before. See if we can unlock any toads. Birdo just falls into the water of life. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Is this going to set off the toad alarm? Not really. I wonder what this is all about then. Yeah, no toad alarm here. I think backstage is just going to be backstage unless... Oh, I do see... somebody is looking a little bit flimsy. No, nothing. Okay, worth a try. Let's tap the save point. Now let's see if Master of Ceremonies has anything new to tell us. The act is over. That looks so heroic, okay. Mario, please return to your seat before it gets mad. I kind of want to see if it gets mad. No, it's not going to get mad. Also, I couldn't help but notice what is binding the curtains here and holding them in place. That looks significant. But yeah. Mario, that play was so racy. All that romance, it was too much. Well, nobody brought out the switchblade knives, at least. That's not how that act was supposed to end. Okay. I actually don't know what the enemy is going to be like, except it's going to be some kind of elastic or rope. Or, you know, something themed around that, but... it wasn't clear to me that we were expecting a box of colored pencils when we were seeing everything involving colored pencils in Part 1 either. Not sure if I can get back to the upper levels. Yeah, exactly. Next. A spectacle by the Royal Shoy Guy. Pardon me, Shy Guy Ballet Company. Obviously a reference to the Moscow-based Bolshoi Ballet. So, I'm going to see some Tchaikovsky here. It totally is Tchaikovsky. It's Swan Lake. I keep calling this, like, one segment after another. So, do we get to play as the Black Swan or the White Swan? Yeah, Reeboks, I only watched the first reveal trailer. I decided I didn't want to be spoiled after that because I was going to be interested in the game anyway. And so, I mean, I did recognize the Samus mask when I picked it up earlier, but I haven't seen any of this other stuff at all. I skipped it direct, I skipped everything, so... So yeah, we've had spaghetti westerns, we've had West Side Story, now we have Swan Lake. Oh, well, too bad. Okay. So, I guess we just need to dodge some of these and take them out one by one. Okay. This is maybe not what Tchaikovsky originally had in mind. Or, I don't remember who the original choreographer was for Swan Lake. Just a composer. I am around way too many people who know much more about ballet history than I do. But... okay. There we go. And there's a bit of a heart replenishment there. Oh wow, this is intense. You know, you're going to see some pretty interesting speedruns out of this when people try to figure out some more optimal patterns for doing this kind of thing. Whoops. Because right now I'm just getting rammed by all these shy guys in tutus. Okay, well that was fine. I guess you only needed to nuke a certain number of them. You didn't need to be perfect. Hey, Hyperion Smokestack. So I'm into film. Yeah, I'm pretty much, very much into film, actually. But my knowledge of cinema tends to be rather older, I guess. As in, I know, you know, 1940s and 50s cinema much better than modern cinema, although I do, you know, keep up with a decent amount of modern cinema as well. And yeah, Hyperion Smokestack, glad to see you drop by. I'm about to finish with this. I was just going to finish this chapter and then call it for this session, but this chapter has turned out to be much longer than I expected. Which was also true of the first chapter, but this one has gone places. Like, I feel like this game is much better than the impression it gave me from the first 5 hours or so. Like, much, much, much better. Did I actually check both sides? I feel like I did just now, but... okay, you have to start work in 30? Yeah, that's fine. You'll probably catch the end of this then. Mario, you can fight, act, and dance. Is there anything you can't do? Well, you can't really talk, I guess. That first half was boring, but the second half was awesome. Ballet is way better with hammers. You would think that Mario's enemies would have figured out by now that trying to put him in a situation where he actually has to do any kind of substantial public speaking in order to win a battle is what he would have the most trouble with, and which would ultimately lead to his defeat and downfall. But given that even Bowser hadn't figured that out, King Ollie, being new to this whole game, definitely didn't have it figured out. Ooh, I have had it with your show-stealing and grandstanding. You wish to be the star? Fine, come on up and face the music. Oh, you got through to Yellow Streamer, okay. Yeah, you think Lou Albano of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show would disagree with that? Yeah, but, you know, Lou Albano isn't here, is he? Okay, folks. We've reached the final act of today's very special show. It is kind of interesting to see how pantomime has just become innately part of Mario's characterization, though, as much as how he expresses himself through jumping. Oh, look at this. That's very glitzy. And you've got Ollie's seal. This looks like it's going to be some kind of extravagant cabaret finale. But... okay, you got all these performers here in their mache costumes. And you've got the Jets and the Sharks over here. And then you have the Shy Guy Bolshoi Ballet. And now, the hero of our show. Come and take a bow, Mario. The Toad on stage still looking very, very sad. Because he has clearly been subjected to such torment in order to be roped into compliance with whatever monstrosity is going on. Shh, play it cool, Mario. I've got mushrooms to help you out. Outside concessions are banned, so try not to get us hot. I don't need mushrooms, we've got plenty. We've got well over a dozen. I am, of course, just going to poke around. Take the hint, Mario. Get up here. And the cutscene begins. No, no, no. The star of the show isn't Mario, you uncultured hacks. The real superstar is... Let's see who this is. Let's see. Oh. The Elastic Entertainer Rubber Band. Okay, that's about what I expected. That is an entrance. What a star. Alright. Hang on, so you think you're the star? Yeah, I kind of agree with that, actually. What a diva. Reminds you of the film Ghost in Luigi's Mansion 3? Yeah, I totally see that comparison. Which was one of my favorite chapters in Luigi's Mansion 3, for sure. I thought that the film studio puzzle was absolutely brilliant. Okay, so, you directed a show? Why did you make it so dangerous? Well, I mean, it's fairly clear. She's trying to kill us all. And Olivia gradually figures this out. Ah, such a long monologue. Yet you didn't flub a single line. Have you ever considered a career in acting? Okay. Let's see what this boss battle is all about. I haven't really had a good solid fight in quite some time in this game, like since we were in the Ninja Castle. I love how the toads are commenting on our floppiness. While the dialogue screen is up, I'm just going to take a look at this layout to see what we're dealing with. We have access to the hand. We don't have access to the other elemental attacks just yet, but let's just poke around with this pattern and see what works. Okay, bumpers. I guess the bumpers would work as potential reflectors, wouldn't they? I think they are supposed to work as reflectors, but I'm not totally clear on that. So I've just got to experiment with this, I think, because if I head on first cycle towards that bumper, does it do a right angle deflection that takes me down? I kind of want to find out. And the only way to do that would be to just have a very simple interaction like this. Oh, okay, no, it only takes you down a tile. I see. And that's going to work out well for us because we're going to get a double attack. I'm going to try to jump and the hammer. No, I only have one action, so let's try to jump. So that sort of accidentally worked out well. That seems like an implausible amount of damage, as if it's only phase 1. Ooh, your pitiful attacks have no effect on my bouncy body. I suppose she recovers. The pullback. Okay, so we need some way to block that. Yeah, what a track, hey? What an incredible track. And only a matter of time before somebody tries to turn this into a spectacular music level in Mario Maker 2. Summon those loose rubber bands back to its weird, wobbly body. I guess the boss kind of goes by it. I thought the sort of gender presentation of this diva was kind of feminine, but you can never tell when it's just a series of rubber bands. Prepare yourselves. Here comes my rubber bind attack. Okay, I guess the idea was that if I had not blocked successfully, that would have caused some problems. Okay, I know how the bumpers work now, and that's important. What I don't know is how to get the hands. Oh, the hands actually do remain activated throughout successive cycles, and so that is important to know. So the bumpers are just going to go this way. Let's just do it like this. Get close to the enemy before using the 1,000-fold arms. Okay. Okay, motion control time. Let's make some room at my desk. Well, glad the hint didn't spoil too much from what I was already trying to do. Grab. Okay. Oh, let go. Okay, I see. Didn't actually need to shake that vigorously. Okay. 1 HP from 1 loose band. Guard, guard, you fool. Okay, so we managed to get rid of a significant number of bands. And that's not going to be too bad in terms of defense. So yeah, once again, we need to activate the on switch. And feels like, yeah, coming down here after we hit the on switch, which retains momentum. That's probably going to work, because I guess, yeah, if you're heading left, being bumped down maintains momentum from the direction of travel, so once again, we'll just get the magic circle on, and let's take a huge chunk off once again. Quick pullback. It's just going to be a very slight replenishment from the 2 available bands. Oh wow, okay. That was a block, but not a terribly good one in terms of mitigation. Use the arrows. At this point, I think I can just probably just go for the kill, at least on this phase. No real down arrows to work with, though, so I think we just kind of need to... Wait. And... yeah, we didn't really have much in a way to work with for attacks, so we'll just go directly like that. Open up a whole bunch of coins we won't really have an opportunity to use, and just get a solid but not very effective series of bounces. Okay. I was hoping to do a bit more damage than that. Instead, that was kind of a wasted turn, but... yeah. Don't need to hint at everything. Like I was saying, I'm pretty sure Olivia is auditioning for a supporting role in a future revival of Skyward Sword. She's interested in performing arts, that seems to be her role. Okay. On. And then we'll move a heart up in the meantime. That seems to be a good way of doing things. In case there is a phase 2 that we should look forward to. This seems too simple to be a one-phase fight. I would expect there to be quite a lot more going on. Okay. And here we are. single wobbly and wriggly band remaining. The curtain's been pulled back. I've been exposed. You've reduced my ensemble to a one-man band. That's wonderful. You'll pay for that. Oh, whoops. Okay, good thing I got the HP replenishment there. That was really punishing. Well, I feel like, once again, going for the hand is probably going to be the answer here, as is going for another heart. And uncovering more on the board in the meantime. Let's see if the hand attack is any good on this face. Very wobbly, actually. Oh, I see. It's kind of like a boxing game. Okay. There we go. That's the part where I shake the controller vigorously. Yeah. Playing in front of a microphone is actually not the most compatible with motion controls that are that vigorous. I had to move around quite a bit. But that was actually it. Wow, okay. It wasn't supposed to end like this, Mario. The agony, the brutality, the sheer injustice of it all. O muses, O bard, have you truly forsaken me for these flimsy, flat, papery beings? I wanted to make this place grand, eliminate things dull and bland. Hey, that rhymes. Alas, this was my final stand. Its curtains for poor rubber. Rubber what? What could possibly rhyme with stand? Rubber... Disneyland? We'll never know. Rubber gasp. Okay. Okay, and the toads have been freed. So, thank you for the GGs and congratulations. This is Nintendo. They don't want you to think too hard about the rubber. Mario, you saved the show. And me. Yeah, Mario is ruthless that way. Quite ruthless. But seems like that'll be pretty much it for this chapter. You did it, Mario. All that's left is to take that streamer down. Wait, let's walk around first. See if the toads congratulate me. Oh, come on. Olivia, I just want to bask in my glory. And... okay, that's kind of helpful. Maybe. Just want to run around and check the sets. Any chance I'll play on a daytime stream? Hibernian Smokestack. I don't know that I will at any point do Paper Mario on a daytime stream. I'm trying to do Mario Maker on those as much as I can this week. Because I do have 4YMM to get through, and I do want to do viewer levels at least once. Paper Mario, I will probably be doing the late stream pretty consistently, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, Electrodude, glad to have you around for so long. Hope you enjoyed the experience of witnessing some of this, and do enjoy your lunch. Okay, let's just whack the seal. And break this thing wide open. And that's going to be all for the blue streamers. So 3 more to go. Quite a lot of content awaits given the amount of playtime that has been involved in each of these chapters. Even as somebody who has not been as much of a completionist as usual. Max confetti increased. Channel points turned off? No, I thought I had them turned on. Electro Dude did hash them in earlier, so I don't know what it is you're seeing. Channel points should be on. So, yeah, I don't know what that confusion was coming from. It might be Twitch just being twitchy. Okay, Hyperion Smokestack, have a good work day. Yeah, Reeboks, sometimes it's just Twitch acting up. Refresh usually works for that. Okay, Mario, we're going to return to the first floor now. You better return to your seat. This is the part where we have a very sudden drop, isn't it? Also, look at that spot in the back. I guess that's where we punched the seal. And let's talk to some toads. This was the toad stack that was tied up at the back earlier and didn't exactly have a very good view of the action. Great job up there. Oh. Bringing the house down is in fact precisely what is going to happen here. You have to wonder about the logic behind the design of this auditorium, that they can only present one show, one auditorium at once, given that there is only one level of seating. I guess it works sort of like the carousel of progress, only it goes up and down instead of round and round. And yeah, the collectibles were available on the first floor, but not in the upper floors. Let's head back out. 100% of toads rescued. Very large percentage, of course, taking their seats in that auditorium. And yeah, let's hit the save block. I will kind of wrap up this section a little bit first, and then probably save and call it. Not going to proceed to the next area, I don't think, but let's just see the end of this segment. Okay, so it's all nice and sunny now. And in fact, this is a kind of different exit point than I might have expected. But the theater has been restored to its full glory. And we'll have a bit of an epilogue sequence as we march down the lane of this theme park in our own little Main Street electrical parade. Celebratory hands in the air, as they say on a certain prominent Mario Maker channel. And yeah, we'll just kind of listen to this very bubbly celebration music. See what's up with Bobby, who suddenly remembers something about his secret identity. Well, that's a shocker. Because something interesting is about to happen. We saved at Shogun Studios, we blew that blue streamer away, and we had a blast while doing it. He remembers everything. And it's just not going to be particularly relevant. You feel like Mario is suffering inside? Yeah, I think so. He's not really accustomed to that sort of attention. And he's just going to leave us? Okay. Well, I mean, you know, that seems awfully mysterious. And the boatman is just going to have none of it. Next stop on the river tour is Sweet Paper Valley. Okay, we'll probably hit the first available save point after this, and then we'll just adjourn from there. Everybody always asks where Mario is, but no one ever asks how is Mario. Yeah, they just kind of assume that he's going to come in and do his job. And, you know, they make a big show of thanking him as he goes downriver, and I'm sure the appreciation is genuine, but at the same time, perhaps there isn't much thought to Mario's interiority in all this. So yeah, that was a fantastic section. Never expected to kind of see Nintendo pay tribute to West Side Story quite like that. Well, okay, so let's hear Bobby's life story. I'm sure that will reveal something very illuminating about this plot. And, okay. His brother made a mess of things? Yeah. I think all of these characters have sibling issues of some sort. Last downriver stop, okay. Yeah, that was a fantastic segment. I did not expect something that consistently good over such a long stretch after what I saw in the first area of the game. The Red Streamer area was... it really felt like a continuation of where Color Splash left off. I mean, you had a much more promising battle system, but it wasn't really being used yet, right? And so the overworld stuff just kind of felt like more of Color Splash. Which had a reasonable overworld, to be perfectly fair. But it certainly felt like it was not going in any new directions that I hadn't seen. The area just now, though, wow, that was thorough. That was very well developed. That's something that people are going to remember about this game. And of course, we're kind of heading into an Old West railroad, which I suppose we were told to anticipate by the Old West scene on stage earlier. And once again, we hear an interesting musical reference here to the style of the recently departed Ennio Morricone. The use of the whistle in this kind of spaghetti western context, I think, is very much his legacy. And King Ollie is going to be very displeased. Yeah, Water Temple was great. I mean, you know, we've seen so many water temples with wings and block puzzles in other games like Zelda, but this one still had a very distinct identity of its own, I think, architecturally speaking. Why must you keep doing this? All I am doing is creating a glorious kingdom for Origami. I love the optimism of her vision of a world where origami and flat paper can coexist. A crinkle. That's quite an insult from paper to paper. It ends now. Okay, we're in trouble. Oh wow, Olivia's just going to get straight up stomped, or at least separated. How long did the second slide puzzle take me? Not very long, actually. I can go over the video afterwards to see how long. I think it was in a previous segment because we had a disconnection while I was in Shogun Studios. So it was in the previous video relative to the one that you're watching right now, but the second slide puzzle, I actually got the quick and efficient shortcut solution first, and the game recognized that as a shortcut solution and denied it to me. But I have a fair bit of experience with slide panel puzzles like that, and there were a lot of repeated elements in that slide puzzle that actually made it simpler than what a slide puzzle on that grid usually would be. And so I didn't have too much trouble with it. I mean, there were a few moves that I was just kind of like doing by trial and error rather than trying to work it out efficiently. But I didn't really find that to be too much of a roadblock. I do think some people who don't have a head for that kind of puzzle will have a lot of trouble with it without guessing. Okay, so the Old West Babam is going to look out over the horizon and realize that it's the only way. I know how to save Olivia, Big M. We have to set sail. We have to get to the port in Toad Town and set sail over the Great Sea. So interesting that without Olivia you have been now denied the various transformation powers, which will be kind of interesting in its own right in terms of how it constrains the game. I do think that when you finish a particular segment, and this was true of the Red Streamer as well, after you release the streamer, it does take a little while to get to the next save block or the next opportunity to hit a save block if I just want to, you know, stop before the next chapter. I guess that's what keeps players going, in a way, but it does make it a little difficult to say, okay, I'm about to stop. But yeah, I guess we can do without her hints for now, unless Bobby or Roberto, the Babam, decides to take over hint spamming duties. Oh, this is apparently the only hole in Sweet Paper Valley that we need to concern ourselves with. And sure, let's recover 11 HP. And take the boat all the way back up. Hey, I didn't hit that rock, did I? I'm going to hit that rock. Slam. There we go. Now our business here is complete. Ahoy, was there an earthquake? More pipe in Shogun Studios, okay. Yeah, let's head back. Yeah, Reebox, I do think that because of some of the tile layouts in that panel puzzle, that a lot of people are naturally going to try the shortcut solution first. I mean, I guess that's Nintendo's approach to an anti-cheese mechanism. But yeah, I'm going to slam that save block, and I think I am going to stop at this point. So why don't we take a look at how I'm doing in the menus. Yeah, Big Show Theater. We pretty much cleared what we could. Sweet River Valley, obviously not much to do there. It's literally nothing but that blocked up entrance. So we could see. Ninja Attraction, we missed 2 treasures, but then that's because we only got 22 of the ninjas uncovered, and so that's certainly part of that. We covered a great deal of ground tonight, actually, having started at Autumn Mountain and just kind of done everything in this chapter forward. I can see that's kind of color-coded as well. Blue Streamer Zone, Yellow Streamer Zone, yeah. And we're at 225 Toad Points thanks to the huge pile of rescues from Theater. So yeah, I think at this point this will be a good place to adjourn. I will, as I said before, be doing more Paper Mario until we finish on some of the streams that are kind of late night my time, or whatever time zone it is for you right now. Reebox, you're based in Australia, right? Yeah, so in this time zone anyway. And we'll be back to Mario Maker 2 for part of the week, just to cover the 4YMM levels, which have had some spectacular inclusions this week. I've seen some of them in advance and played some of them in early versions, and this week's set I am really looking forward to doing. So yeah. And 8 p.m. over there? Yeah, well, you have a good evening on your end, and as somebody who's completed this already, hopefully you'll find some additional excitement from watching me stumble around through this when you're not busy with streaming yourself. And so thank you for dropping by for so long and for telling me to actually go down and find Luigi in that door. That was definitely very useful time-saving advice. And at this point, I guess we'll just leave off. And thank you very much for watching. I may scan around for a raidable target anyway, although we don't have much of a crew to bring over. And regardless of whether you join me for that or not, I bid you all a good day, so see you next time. Yeah, you will recognize, of course, this screen being an Odyssey speedrunner. That's pretty much where I get all my stream assets from, is they are my own pile of Odyssey screenshots. And I was looking for some way to use them, because I had them sitting around since like 2017, and when I started streaming, I thought, okay, wonderful. This is how we'll use them. They're a perfect fit. So, I spammed the capture button quite a lot on this system. But yeah, anyway, you have a good day. Let's see where we're headed next. Bye-bye.